Your mom.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's a little bit echoey in this new location. I'm not going to film here every time, but sometimes when my room is a mess, this is the next best place in the house. If you hear anything in the background, please excuse that. I have people in the house as well. So, I am going to go over my my 10 titles of manga that I think is underappreciated or underrated, but this one is a lot harder than the anime list because it's not even hot. Why? Because a manga's popularity really depends on whether it has an anime or when it got licensed in the West. All these other factors affect a manga's popularity in the West. Plus, I don't think the Western fandom reads manga as much as watch it. So there's that factor as well. So I found it really hard to put together this list, but I managed to find 10 titles that I think are really good manga and could use a little more support. So there are 2 exceptions to this list. 2 titles that are exceptions. The other ones all have anime with moderate success, or maybe the anime wasn't very good. And yeah, we'll just go straight into it. So the first one is Detective Conan, also known as Case Closed. This one is available in Netflix at the moment, at least it is in New Zealand. But the manga is definitely not talked about when you're talking about Detective Conan. Everyone just watches the show, which is still good, but the manga is also just as good, and it looks and feels exactly like the anime. So the anime did a really good job. So yeah, check out the manga if you're interested in Detective Conan. It's just as good, I think. Another really big title is Seven Deadly Sins. I know a lot of people love watching the anime here in the West, or at least in New Zealand, but they almost never talk about the manga, and the manga is beautiful. The illustrator is like one of the best I've seen in recent memory. Everything is pen, no heavy dependence on screen tones, and the guy just knows what to draw to communicate fun action and good expression, so I think it's really good. Yeah, the manga for Seven Deadly Sins I think is better than the anime also. So yeah, they do the action bigger and better, I feel like. So if you like Seven Deadly Sins, definitely check out the manga. I think it's better. The anime is still good too, but yeah. Another one is Toriko. I've mentioned this title a couple of times in my other videos, but this one also has an anime. I don't know why it got the children's morning time slot when it was airing as an anime, so they had to censor the crap out of it, because this manga, it's not like they were like surprised it's gory now. It's always been gory. The one shot was crazy gory, so I have no idea why it got the kids show treatment. So the anime really let this one down, and it's really fun. It was kind of weird when I first started watching because because it was a weird monster hunting. I love Monster Hunter, by the way. That's something else. Creature hunting battle food manga. It had that like foodgasm of food manga, and then it had all the battles and crazy power-ups and stuff of battle manga, and I thought it was a really interesting mix. Toriko's art style is really cool too. Main character is really charismatic, and I wish this series got a little more love. Unfortunately, it's cancelled now, so there's not much we can do about that, but maybe the dream is that if it gets popular enough, or you know, people start to acknowledge it a bit more, we could maybe get a continuation down the line. That would be really good. So Toriko is another one I'd recommend, especially if you like battle manga, shonen jump, and you want like a new twist to it. I think Toriko is interesting. Another one that got axed here in the West is Gin Tama. Gin Tama is still going and is quite successful in Shonen Jump in Japan, and the anime is so good. Unfortunately, anime as well is very hard to find in the West, so it just doesn't help this case. Manga is not as good because it can't do all the jokes that the anime could. The anime is produced by Sunrise and they have all sorts of licenses and it's just really hilarious. But Gintama has a lot of heart and that unique sense of humor that Gintama is famous for. It's all in the manga as well. So if you want it more like less shenanigans, more condensed version of Gintama with more of the main plot, then this is the manga that you want to read. Unfortunately, it was axed at like 20 something volumes, which is but I hope Viz picks it up again down the line or release omnibus or something because it's a really good series. Next up is a sports manga that was forgotten in time because of really not so great anime. It's Eyeshield 21, which is really awesome sports anime in Shonen Jump. So I always kind of emphasize the Shonen Jump aspect because it kind of turns battle-esque and people have some ridiculous powers that don't exist in real life probably, but it's so good. It has all that stuff we love about sports manga, you know, working hard. There's a word for that and I can't think of it. So yeah, it feels good. The art is amazing because it is drawn by Yusuke Murata. He does One Punch Man right now, but his work in Eyeshield 21 is just god tier. So yeah, this is Eyeshield 21. Definitely pick it up. I think it's really easy to get nowadays. The full series of like 37, 38 volumes. Pick it up or just try it out because it is beautiful, heartfelt, and it's about American football, which is not the usual baseball because football is not a big thing in Japan at all. So I think it's quite refreshing to have that. Next up is Nura, Rise of the Yokai Clan. The anime wasn't too bad actually, but definitely not a lot of people read the manga. I think the manga is a little bit better than the anime. It's about equal part actually, so if you like the anime, check out the manga. I think the art's beautiful and yeah, it's funny. It's funny, lighthearted, kind of yokai series. So if you like that Japanese supernatural ghost kind of stories, then you should go for those. I mean, that, not those. Any title released by Natsume Ono I think is heavily underrated in the West, considering how much of it is licensed. So I have House of Five Leaves here, but you can go for anything like Ristorante Paradiso, Aka 13, all these other ones that have English manga, but not a lot of people seem to be reading them. I know it's a little bit slow. Sorry, my stomach. I know it's a little bit slow, but I do think if you give it some time to settle, it stays. It lingers. It's one of those lingering series. Any one of her series has had, I don't know, that Natsume Ono touch. Anything that she does is really gentle and quiet. So if you want a change of pace, Natsume Ono has got you with a good story, kind of a walking pace, and really unique art style. I mean, you can see her series from a mile away. You know that it's drawn by her because she's got this really specific art style and it's beautiful. So here you go. An older one on the list is Magic Knight Rayearth. It's Clamp obviously, but back when Clamp they put a lot more, I can't say they don't put effort into their work now, but back then, like, I don't see Clamp do this kind of work anymore. This level of detail. And it's one of the rare series that they actually completely finished, which is amazing for Clamp. And it's beautiful. And the reason why I bring this one up now is because it's kind of relevant The anime got a Blu-ray release, and it's very recent, so I bet it's really easy to get right now. Magic Knight Rayearth is one of my favorite clamp titles, along with Cardcaptor and some of their earlier works. So definitely check out Magic Knight Rayearth if you haven't. It's easy to buy as well. I think none of the titles are too hard to get, even though Tokyo Pop went under and all that. So definitely check that one out. Now these two, one of them don't have an anime and the other one has an anime that's more famous. We'll go with the one that has an anime, and it is Mob Psycho. This is the Japanese volume, but the Mob Psycho anime already has like a full Western release, collector's edition, and standard bought. And the live action movie, it's on Netflix, and I don't know, it's just really accessible, but the manga is just so much better. The anime, as great as it was, I love the anime. It pales in comparison to the manga. The manga just has way more character development, a lot more heartfelt moments, like all these character moments that you get a glimpse of in the anime. It gets explored in the manga, and I know the art style puts a lot of people off. I mean, I don't blame you, because when you see the first cover, the first few pages looking like this, I don't blame you, but honestly it is really good. It's probably one's best work so far, judging from only two, which is One Punch Man and Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho is definitely better in my opinion, so definitely check this out when it gets translated. I'm pretty sure it'll happen soon. I hope they license One's work, because as much as Murata, amazing artist and all that, he's not much of a writer, and his version of One Punch Man is just a little bit subpar to One, which is the original. So I'm not like an original only elitist or anything, but definitely One's the stronger writer. He has the ideas for this. So yeah, I think he's a better writer, and One Punch Man, One Punch Man and One's Mob Psycho, I hope get full manga English releases, because they're so good. And I hope they keep this like overglossed tradition that they always do in the Japanese one. And this one's Beyond Manga. I always mention this one. I don't know why. I love it. It's his favorite. Obviously, this one doesn't have an anime. Though I think this one can. I think it's better than having like Jinjo Romantica and all these other titles. This one is really not into all that BL that much. It's more about the relationship between the characters. Yeah, I think this one deserves an anime. I don't think you'll get it, but yeah, I would be so surprised if it did. It's a good story. I love the characters. The characters are a little bit interesting. It gets a bit weird with like the backstory of Sato, and how he became like that. But other than that, I still find the series and the characters really interesting and endearing. So if you are looking for a kind of like funny, lighthearted BL manga, then I recommend this one. And that is my 10 titles. I won't say top 10 because I'm sure there's way more. But 10 titles that I wish got a little more appreciation in the West. I know there are lots of other manga that just gets zero recognition, or so I really had to think a lot. Like there's so many factors to. I could have mentioned any of the more obscure manga, but I feel like even though they're a little more obscure, some of them are so critically acclaimed that they're kind of famous in their own way. So I kind of want to go for the ones that were not so critically acclaimed and sort of relevant, easy accessible, had all the things in its favor to be popular, but somehow fell short or under the radar because they're competing against some really big superstars. These kind of things I wanted. So it was a hard mix to get right in the middle between super obscure or like kind of indie series and mainstream, just like that thin band of balance. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.